I'm Eric Dishman. I'm the General Manager of Healthcare and Life Sciences at Intel Corporation. Came over to celebrate the progress to date on the ExaScale Life Science Lab here in lovely Brussels, Belgium. And it's great to see what's happened in just a couple of years, bringing in technologists and people who understand high-performance computing and combining them with people who understand life sciences and figuring out the future of healthcare together. I'm here today to celebrate the ExaScale Life Sciences Lab that Intel and Janssen and IMEC and 5 Flemish universities have brought together to really do pioneering work to figure out the future of healthcare and figure out the future of personalized medicine for each and every one of us. Well, it's interesting. I'm not just a sort of R&D and sort of business leader. I'm a patient who has basically enjoyed the rare access to the kind of genomics technologies that would be one of the things we would enable in this lab. I've had a 23-year cancer journey. Lots of different chemotherapies and radiation therapies, all those decades, and at the end of this time, as things were getting quite bleak, I got lucky enough to have a whole genome sequence. And this is a sort of exascale big data challenge. I mean, this generated a 5 terabyte file that my doctors and clinics had to send back and forth to each other through a shipping truck because you can't ship that much data over the internet. And it took 6 months for them to figure out how to analyze this. And one of the big problems they had was there wasn't enough computing power and enough networking power to even just handle that much data and compare my genome to the thousands of other genomes to figure out what's going on with me individually. The good news is they persevered and did that and came back and told me, we've misunderstood your cancer for 23 years, put me on a chemotherapy for another cancer and another drug I'd never been on. 3 months later, cancer-free, ready for a kidney transplant. So this is my first international trip after that kidney transplant and years of kidney failure. And you know, I came back to Intel and I'm coming to this conference saying it's time to scale these kinds of technologies and breakthroughs to everyone. And there's still a bunch of technical and clinical challenges that we've got to figure out. But the great thing about this lab is it's sort of a mind meld between the life science gurus and lots of different disciplines and the technical gurus, again with lots of different disciplines coming together to tackle these breakthroughs in healthcare and medicine that we need, you know, for everybody, not just a lucky Intel executive. Well, the topic I talked about today was what I call care customization, or N=1 healthcare, right? Not, you know, it's like healthcare designed for a sample size of 1, you as a complex adaptive individual who changes day to day, week to week, month to month, and your treatments may need to change with you as your biology and behavior and sort of whole cultural context change. You know, I think where we're headed with this sort of vision of personal health is a model where you go in for your annual physical with your GP or your doctor, and you know, we're looking at a computational model of you as an individual. And based on what's happened to you over the last year, and based on data that's coming from your smartphone, based on your genomic data, which we may update and see what's going on to see if, you know, things are being expressed differently in your body now than they were the last time we visited. Looking forward from that as like a map, like a Google Earth of your body, and saying, there may be a problem here, here, or here. Let's do preventive care and, you know, predictive care and get out in front of those so they never become painful, they never become expensive. And that's the future where we're trying to head to. And if you still end up with a disease, then customizing that care to your proteins, your metabolism, your genomics, real time, updating it, because sometimes tumors and other kinds of things adapt. So, you know, it's going to change the game of treating the tumors and diseases that we do have, and it's going to really change the game at the point at which that predictive model exists and we're just heading problems off at the pass before they ever sort of really manifest themselves. I'm impressed with the work that the lab has done in the last 2 years. I mean, I know, while the lab wasn't in my group at Intel at the time, I knew about it at the time, and you know, we were just getting the introductions going between the technical folks and the life science folks, and sort of like, why are we even, you know, sort of talking to one another? I need to go back to my wet bench and work on my precision biology, or I need to go back to my servers and figure out how to make memory and chips go faster. I think they get it now, and as the greater European Union is starting to invest in this area of what's sometimes called precision biology, sometimes called personalized medicine, what I call personal health. You know, I want this lab to grow. I want it to tap into some of those greater funds and figure out how to take you know, what really less than 1% of patients on the planet have access to today, and it mostly is in cancer, but sort of scale it out to all conditions, all diseases. Like, what is personal health for diabetics going to look like? What is personal health for preventive care and primary care going to look like? What is personal health for people with neurodegenerative diseases going to look like? So we've got big problems to tackle, and I'm hoping that we can just tack into big collaborations across greater Europe to make that happen.